I'm so glad you missed me because I sure miss you.
Hey, Cleo. Happy what?
Oh,
What today is, ho? You ain't tripping, is you?
yeah.
You will.
Y'all ain't got a nice picture.
I'm gonna put it.
They said they was gonna put it back on there. It fell.
Thanks. Oh, you all right with me? Same birthday month.
And
So why come they can't send me something just like they sent you?
because it makes me jealous.
Screaming so bad.
You should be happy.
Okay, I'm happy for you.
Now, was that sincere?
Bullshit.
And on a boat.
Hell yeah. Yeah. All you don't suck, you fuck. If all you don't fuck, you suck. And fuck them one at a time and throw them in the river.
Well, I'll be down. And hard or slow and gentle?
Both of them sound damn good to me, shit. Hey, that's hard to pick. I don't know, honey. Both of them sound outstanding. Yeah. I'm running out of words. And Christmas starts with
Don't you start pumping. Quick. Because how did you even get that from what I asked you?
easy.
Your mind went right.
Your mind is in the gutter.
And so what? You want to make something out of it?
Just because I said fast and hard or slow and gentle.
Oh my God, both of them are honey, terrific.
Terrific.
I'll take either one.
My God.
Oh, Howard, somebody asked, have you ever had a bad sexual experience?
A what?
A bad sexual experience where it was horrible. That you remember?
Yeah, because I was trying to do it to myself.
Oh, come on. Nope.
I was trying to masturbate.
Bye. Holla.
What the fuck? You want me to? I thought you wanted to keep it real. God knows I ain't telling no lie. I jugged then I laid up, turned over, and then put it in between and went up and down. You want this pillow, motherfucker?
The pillow is for support, Holla.
Right.
So, Holla, are you feeling better?
Yes.
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 Okay. Y'all still eating this cantaloupe and stuff? How they say, are you going on a plant-based diet now?
No.
Because they see you eating fruits and everything. You must be going vegan.
You must be going crazy.
Your viewers wants to know, is it necessary to let your cooter breathe at night, or should you just wear panties?
That's your choice, honey. If you're hot enough, take the panties off. Let it flow. Let the fuck flow. But if you feel like you want to, slide down some of the fuck, that's your choice.
One.
Then you're as crazy as a motherfucking goddamn. Are you retarded? If you think Maya's singing is fantastic, there's something wrong with your ears.
Oh, one of the
Or
followers
either
the
you
call
plain
taken
out
up for you.
retarded, or you either plain out, you don't have the chairs in the bottle. All of them saying bye, because I can't even talk to nobody with that kind of.
Maya, this one of the frappes taken up for
Bye.
you.
Bye, bitch.
Oh my, Holly, that's one of the frappes.
I don't give a goddamn if it's one of Jesus' angels to approach me with some bullshit like that.
How do I need to wash your mouth out with soap?
I wouldn't try it if I was you, Pooh.
Why?
I just wouldn't.
That was pretty good.
Frappe, Dave.
Right, so hold your frappe.
Shit in there.
Oh, hold it. All right, now let's hear a word from you in honor of National Frappe Day.
Because of you, National Holiday Frappe, I'm famous, rich, fuck Oprah, fuck jail, fuck all the rest of the goddamn motherfuckers. Me and you, McDonald, you should be giving me some motherfucking cheap ass.
Maya, you gonna have to chill now.
Come on, man.
Now what you
But
say?
I love you so much and I appreciate it. I'm overjoyed.
Holla.
I'm up.
What do you know about the multiverse?
Hi, everyone. Oh.
My bad. I
Hey.
stayed muted through the video and everything. My bad. Yeah. So as you can see, we started the show a little bit differently today. We
Yes.
started with a tribute to who became a shining beacon in the rough seas of TikTok.
Yes.
To hear her craziness and her rants and her comebacks and her roasts and everything. So it was, she recently passed, so we wanted to just take a moment to honor her. And Holly, I know that she became one of your favorite people. Do you have any words you'd like to share?
Yeah, so I just, it's Grandma Holla, but her name is Helen Davis. She passed away at 97, just a few days ago. She was battling cancer, so I just wanted to, share that with everybody, that TikTok video. So, yes, an honor, rest in power to her.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I don't know who's going to tell those people what they need to hear now that she's gone.
Right.
But hopefully somebody's there to carry on the mantle. It's kind of like the Black Panther mantle. Hopefully somebody's there, to keep talking that mess after she has, moved on to the ancestral plane. That's my hope for that family.
Yeah.
Welcome to Multiverse, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. As you can see, right now we are missing our bad Ty. We're missing Tylene because it is his daughter's birthday. We wish her a very, very happy birthday. He's taking care of the family, making sure their celebration is great. So we wish her a happy birthday and wish them a wonderful night. And we'll catch up with them next week. So hey Ty, I'm sure you're checking in on us and making sure we're good in the comments and stuff like that. So hello, I see you. Speaking of comments, everybody who's there, hello Lisa, hey Amy, what's up y'all? All of our people who stop by on YouTube, Facebook, and everything, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's always appreciated. We love to engage with y'all and have conversations with y'all. It's going to be a really fun show today. We have a topic that I think is very close to some of our hearts, but we all have a very interesting experience with this topic we're going to talk about. And I'm interested to hear kind of how it's affected your lives and maybe in the comments here, how it's affecting y'all's life. So before we get too deep into it, I'm sitting here with my friends. I just want to say, how's your week going so far, Holly?
Oh, my week is going great. Just busy as usual, but I'm looking very forward to this conversation.
Good. Minnie, what about you? How's your week going, Minnie?
It's going great. I'm still alive, people. I'm still alive.
Yes. Well, we're killing it. We're all still alive. We're here.
Yes.
And trust us, Ty is alive. He's still here. He's, you can't see him. He is.
Yes.
Take our word for it. Everything's good. We hang.
Mm-hmm.
But our topic for today, and thank you again for joining us, college. Yes or no? There's been kind of a little bit of a debate that's popping up lately, whether or not college carries the same weight as it used to. Is it do we look at it the same way as we used to look at it? Is it as necessary as we once thought it was? There's a little bit of conversation that's been going on around this. Before we jump into why or why not, is it not something that's useful, something we should depend on, stuff like that? I would like to know if you want to share what your personal experience is with college. Did you go? How do you like it? What kind of degrees? We'll start with Holly because Holly is a very impressive, very well-educated person whom I have the utmost respect for. So Holly, please take us away so you could shame Minnie and myself.
No, I would just say I took a different path in life, and that's okay. So for sorry, I have my little gremlin dog in the background. He's a little upset at me.
Hey, gremlin.
Today. Yeah. So anyways, I would say I took the path of college, and I am a veteran at the college process to being in college. So I do have a few degrees. I'm currently in school for my last degree, a doctorate of education. But being someone who is in human resources, I do see both sides, and I actually recommend both depending on like what you're trying to do. So I would say like either way, like I think education is important, but what route you take, I think it depends. But am I pro college? Yeah, I lean more to that side, just having been through it, but I can understand why people don't. So yes, that's my starting off my perspective.
Okay. All right. So I noticed you said last degree, but you seem like somebody who's always like on a quest to be further educated and like,
Yeah.
I've seen your wall. You used to, show us your degrees on your wall and stuff like that. And there were quite a few pieces of paper there.
Wow.
So I don't know if I had to bet on the over or under whether this would be your last degree, I would bet on you getting another degree. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think if it anything, it'd probably be like professional certifications, but no, not anymore. This one is probably going to test my patience and and my mental fortitude for sure.
All right.
So.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Minnie, do you want to let us know what's up with your college experience, your life experience, how you feel about it?
First of all, let's not pass over the fact that this young lady is going for her doctorate. Damn it. That is a round of applause right there. For real. Straight up. My experience has been totally the opposite. I've probably been kicked out of more schools that people can get into. So yeah, but it's like, okay, so my experience with college, it has nothing to do with college. Let's run it up just like she said. Do I recommend it? Just like she said, exactly like she said, depends on what you're doing with your life. Mm-hmm. That would be my recommendation. It depends on what you're doing with your life. Is it means nothing to have a bunch of degrees and you're not doing that. Okay? It's just, that's bottom line. Doesn't matter how many degrees you got. If you're not doing that, what are you doing? So what were you doing for those 6, 7, 8 years anyway? So that's my point in a nutshell. But my experience has nothing to do with the college education or the college as a whole, as an establishment. It was just me being an ass and getting kicked out of school. But yeah, I got, you got Hildenberg of Ohio, you got UF, and you got Old Dominion University, all high regarded schools, all schools that you need good grades to get into, high scores. I had all that 3 times, all out. But at the same token, I have a brother who had similar test scores, got into what they would consider a lesser school, and he is the youngest engineer to ever work for Lockheed Martin. So you got that. You see what I'm saying? So,
No, I can sense a pattern here, like the idea that it's not just one or the other. And I think that'll carry on throughout our discussion because I do want to make it known that even, and I'll fill you into my experience, but I don't think anybody here is anti-education and anti-knowledge. And I hope nobody out there is. It is, I think as a blanket statement, I would say it is good to be as educated as possible. How we go about that, there are very different ways, and how the system is built, we'll get into that, but definitely pro-education here on Multiverse. I believe that we can safely say that. I can speak for Ty too when we say pro-education. But for my experience, I graduated high school and always understood college as kind of like the next logical step. Didn't know what I wanted to go for, what I want to do. So I went into community college. I worked a couple jobs, paid for it myself, got my 2-year degree in a little more than 2 years. By a little more, I would say, whatever. Let's just say more than 2 years. And then since then, I've been on about a 16-year break and just kind of waiting for that next and we'll see how that goes. No, but what I found, I tried different different approaches and different looked at different specialties and stuff, and I couldn't find anything that was that like kept me there. You know what I mean? Now, I think I understand the reason why now at this point, as I chase my comedy career and stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay, well, I think I landed where I needed to be, and I think my path, winding as it may have been, helped me to get here. So that's great. But yeah, I sit here as somebody who technically does not have a college degree, a 4-year degree anyway. I just have the associates, and but with a lot of respect for education, for higher education, and for those who do hold those degrees. So that's my my path and my college experience. Thank you in the comments for sharing your experiences.
Yeah.
We love y'all sounding off in the comments. It's always great to see you. Always great to check in with you. But yeah, I mean, with that, I think that the next question that I kind of like had on my mind was just I was curious about what was your experience growing up? How was college explained to you? How was it sold to you? Was it sold to you at all? What were your thoughts when you went into it, and how was it framed in your childhood? Mindy, do you want to give us a little bit of insight on that?
Well, I was fortunate to like grow up with a mom who went to college, and my mom went to college. I had a couple of uncles who went to college, so I was fortunate that. But at the same time, she never kind of like threw it in my face like, you got to go to college, you got to go to college, you got to college. It was a thing of like, see, you get to see how I live because of what I've done, type of thing. And it's up to you if it's conductive or whatever you want to do, then go ahead and go to college. Which is like, I think the best way is just, you have to, if you're raising a child in that manner, you have to just, put it in front. What do you want to do first? Figure that out first. And is college the best thing for that? Or what kind of college is the best thing for that? Not every college is best for everything. Sometimes people want to go to a big name college, but that college is not even known for what you want to master in. So what are we doing? So things of that nature. So I grew up not idolizing it or realizing how much it might mean when it comes to pay grade. But I did idolize the knowledge part. My mom always did put in front of me like gain knowledge, and the best way to gain knowledge is through have to go out and learn. You can't just, at that time you can't just YouTube a million videos about anything.
True.
You have to sit down in the library. Like a big thing with my mom was the library. Like I've been in the library plenty of times as a child, and reading was a big thing, things of that nature. But the college institute itself, it wasn't something that was thrown in my face. But at the same time, my mom, with the background that she has, being an activist, you could see what the discord was between her going to college and her understanding what the concept of college was in the first place.
Okay, I appreciate that. And also thank you for bringing up libraries. I think libraries are often underappreciated for how vital of a civil resource they are. In a country and in a society where not all of our civil resources work the way they should, I would say libraries are like some of the most dependable and some of the best that we have. So if you don't already have your library card, get it and use it. Libraries are amazing. Yeah, so use them. Also, just typically, and it might be, you might have to get out of your house, you might have to walk a little bit, maybe do a little research, but they're a little bit more fun than Google, I would say.
Yeah.
If you're looking for some information, you can have some fun with some libraries. Holly, what was college like, or how was it sold to you as you were growing up?
Oh, yeah. So it wasn't. So I am like first generation college student, still am, even though I have like other siblings. No one in my family has gone to college in that way. Like I haven't attained any degree, which is fine. What I come from a family where it was like technical degrees, military, and that was kind of how you ascertained your knowledge or your career. So I grew up in a household where college was never really talked about, but because I was such a good student, my teachers brought it to me, and they were just kind of like, oh, you're gonna have all these scholarships, like you should really, sports wise, you could go to college like on a scholarship. So then I think it wasn't until I was like maybe a sophomore in high school that I really started thinking like, oh, like college is my next step. But I didn't have anybody in my family who, I think one of my cousins went to like community college, but again, they weren't like consistent at it. So it was that's what I'm saying. So I was really starting from a blank slate. And if anything, it's funny, like in my family today, they actually push the military more. Like you'll see pictures of my brothers and like siblings in the military, pictures on the wall, but not me like graduating from college. Masters. It's okay though. It's okay. No hard feelings.
Dirty.
But it's like, but that's what I'm saying is that's just what's pushed in my family. But what I say is what I saw was what I had talked to like Black teachers, and they had gone to college and explained to me, and I said, oh, okay, so if I go to college, I could have these opportunities. And remember, like in the early 2000s, like we'll say like 2000 to like 2010-ish, right? The conversation around like you go to college and that's how you get these good paying jobs, and like that's kind of how it was explained to me, not realizing like, oh, you could be in real estate. Like there was all these other avenues you could pursue too. So I feel like I think having information on both sides would have been helpful in like making that decision. And I say that's, so it's like, for me, it was like, I was shown kind of like, cause you're a good student, go to college. And that was like literally the only option showed to me. And my dad's like, you can't go to the military because you won't be able to follow orders. You'd be like, this makes no logical sense to do this. And so it works for some people. And my dad was like, not you. So I understand why people, choose it for different reasons. But yeah, for me, it wasn't pushed. But I do see like my dad was successful in obtaining like computer programming certs, and then he was able to transition into corporate America. And I actually work at the same company he worked at. So it's like it now, but I'm there with college degrees. So I think it's like, he was retiring at a time where you had to have a college degree to get the job, where before it was okay off. Where now I think they're going back to like the combination of like, okay, if you don't have the degree, it's okay if you have a lot of experience, kind of that balance. Where when he was in it, it was like, if you didn't have a college degree and you were like my age, you're not getting the job back then. So it's, we're seeing the ebb and flow, I think, of that tug of war between experience versus education, like college education right now. Yeah. So yeah.
Agreed. And I think there is a bit of a tug of war, but one thing that I saw while I was just kind of looking, I was trying to understand kind of better what the landscape looked like right now, because although we do kind of feel a little bit of a shift, the world is changing a lot. I mean, there are ways to make money now that we couldn't have fathomed when we were 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like content creation is a whole market in itself. You know what I mean? And people are making careers out of that. There was no content creation in college, that kind of thing. So a lot. I have some similarities to your story, but it's a little bit different. Like it was pushed to me as sort of you should be the first in the family to go and do this thing.
Oh, okay.
Like because I was the oldest or the eldest like grandchild, and then so the firstborn of my generations. They're like, set a good example and go to college and get educated. Education was valued and stuff. But and a little bit to Minnie's point earlier, you talked about like, what do you want to master in, what do you want to study and stuff. I found that decision terrifying as an 18-year-old.
I changed my major many times.
Yeah. I was like, you want me to decide my life?
I did once.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know who this is right now, but this has to be a family member of mine.
It's a nanny.
What's up. Yeah, you know what's up. That's what it was very much a thing that could even be my mom, because we absolutely my grandmother was very vocal about wanting that to be a thing. They came, my grandparents, Southern folks worked real hard, descendants of slaves, so it was a very big point of pride. Look at that. Yeah, that's mom. We got to figure out how to get mom to Facebook. Right. What's up, mom? Hey, how you doing? Thank you for hanging out. No, but it was very much a big point of pride for them, or something that they thought would be a proud thing to say, hey, look, here's this. We're gonna start a new cycle of education in our family and stuff. My brother ended up, and there were a couple other cousins who went and did their thing, but my brother, he is he went to college and did his thing, so he took the heat off me for that one. But it was sold to me like that. But it was also, with that came kind of pressure. I think that without, especially without somewhere to point it, I looked at school as just sort of like this arbitrary thing that would just take up most of my time. And I was like, why am I doing this? That kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, yeah, but what I found when I was doing a little bit of research is that even though we can feel a little bit of a shift, there's still a lot of, a lot of the understanding is that college is going to make your life better. I looked at some stats and said, this is as of November 21st or November 1st of 22. And they're saying that applications over 2019, which was the last year that was not affected by the pandemic, have increased over 26% for just first year applicants. And then if you factor in total applications, which is like going and applying to more than one school, it's up near 40%. So college admissions are still going up. There's still plenty of people who live by that idea that college is going to improve your life. And again, I'm very pro education, but I do wonder if we handle it correctly, kind of as a society, like, because we do paint it as we often paint it as like the best option, right? Like it's the one we want to push people towards the most. But now in the world that we have today, looking at college as sort of an investment in your future, knowing about things like debt, knowing student loans, you know what I mean? Knowing the economy like it is, seeing the world change the way it is. Are we still looking at it the right way, or do we need to move to kind of presenting it as an option if you're going down certain paths, but also other options are not necessarily a failure to do something, or you didn't make it high enough, but you just chose a different path, like you said earlier, Holly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's so. Given, like, with that in mind, I know you have children. How would you, how would you sell it to them when it starts to get into that time or how are you selling it to them? You may already be having this conversation.
Yeah, no. So we already are having these conversations. I mean, we set up college savings plans for them since they were born, each of my daughters. It's smart. Definitely, but what we can do with those college savings plans, that if they don't go to college, we are allowed to take that money and do other things with it. But I think that's what it is. I think socializing the idea, though, that while college can bring you many opportunities, I think also giving them other options. So like one of my daughters is like, Mom, I want to act. And so like some people might say, oh, you should go to like a college that has like an acting program. That might not be required. We might just be able to have you go through like an acting boot camp, and that sets it off, and then you have the money to come back to if you want to go to school for journalism or writing down the line or whatever, if that's something. But I do present it as an option that will be available to them to pursue. Because I also don't want it to say, like, I think that's also one thing I think the conversation needs to change about, like, affording college, right? Yeah. Like, how do you afford it and not, like, going into debt? And I think that's where I feel like the conversation is shifting, as a lot of millennials do have a lot of college debt, and it does impact them in building wealth. And so I know that wasn't explained. It's just like, you take out loans and you'll get a great job and you'll like pay it back. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't, that's an the oversimplification to say the least, of telling an 18-year-old, interest rates and all these kind of things. Like, that's where I feel like now when I have the conversation about college with my kids, it's more like, we're preparing this one pathway for you. You can have other pathways. But yeah, it's not like I'm pushing them to be like, you're going to Duke University, this is what it is, or you're going to UF or UCF. It does, like, it's not pushed in that way. It's just presented as an opportunity. So that they have.
No, I like that approach. I feel like it's a very productive one. I like that, one of your kids is talking about acting. That's awesome. I know that if I even considered the idea of like, maybe I should go to, theater school, or maybe I should go, do something in that realm that I knew I wanted to be in, but like I discounted because I was like, this isn't the path that I'm supposed to take. You know what I mean? Like, if I thought less of that as like kind of wasted time, like, oh, well, how do you get a good job after you go to theater? Because it was all like, get a job, you know what I mean? Go to school, get a job. So I think that that idea was something that that for me personally ended up sort of limiting the potential that I saw in school. So I wasn't going to make myself better in something I wanted to be better in. I was like, okay, college equals money. So that's the justification for it. And then, the money that I did spend in college, didn't really help me out. I mean, I got a little something out of it, but it's the risk wasn't worth the reward for me. But
Right.
yeah, but for Minnie, we were talking about the kids and stuff, and I know you do have a kid, and I'm wondering if you care to share. Yeah, news breaking here.
I do. Dang it.
No,
Yeah. Well, by the way, to take it back, Lisa said something that's very important. I remember telling you guys that my mom went to college. She had a college degree. My mom had a college degree in Puerto Rico. She went to college in Puerto Rico, got a college degree in Puerto Rico. When she came over here, it didn't translate. The language barrier was too much. So she actually struggled over here and still was like, you should go to college. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is a big thing to say when you just went through what you went through. But I say that to say this. Me, when I grew up, it was I always knew I was going to be an entertainer no matter what. For a long time, I thought I was going to be something else. I will not say what that was. It wasn't a stripper. I know what you're thinking, Tyrone. It wasn't a stripper. I know what you. Well, that's kind of the same thing. But no, I wanted to be a rapper all my life. But I knew I was going to be a writer. So I didn't see college for that. But the way that I got into it was sports. Like out of competition, I wanted to go to like nobody my height had went to like a D2 school in like ever. And I was like, oh, I'm doing that. And when they realized I've never been no dummy, so they were like, oh, wait a minute, you're in the Institute of Technology and you have taken pre-cal and you have a 3.8 and you have a 1300 on your SATs. Wait a minute, and you never missed school? Wait a minute. We might put you in here in this college. So that's how I got into college. It wasn't, it was just me wanting to better myself and then realizing, oh, we actually have somebody that we can give a spot in this team and is going to help us collegiately with our grade, because that's all what it's about. If the average is not up there, the team can't play. But anyway, when it comes to my kid, I'm doing the same thing my mama did. I'm going to let her know this is what we can't, this is what you can do, and this is the options that you have. And just like Holly, very smartly so, I would say my baby moms told me when she like right after the whole shebang and we went home, she was like, hey, we need to set up something for the baby. And she set up something for the baby. I set up something for the baby. We putting money into it every month ever since she was born. So when she's 18, she'll get it from both sides. Now, in my part, I always told her, you don't have to use this to go to college. You can use this to do whatever you want. Now, if you want to be a hairdresser and I'm giving you, let's say, 30, 40K, you better own the damn building.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
Absolutely.
That's good advice. 100%. And, it makes me think about and I kind of reiterate a point that I made earlier, just how much college is framed around money, but how often it maybe should be framed instead as something that that is more just to make you a better, more complete person. Like, what if it was just if you desire, go to college to be more educated, to be to have a skill you didn't have before, to perfect the skill that you might have now, and kind of separate it from the idea of it being money in the bank. Because especially for somebody who's 17, 18, 19 years old, going into, literally still a child, going into, taking those first steps into the rest of your life, it's a pretty daunting thing to think that the decisions that you make in those times can drastically alter the course of your life. So, not only that, but, some of the points that you and Holly both made shined the light on the idea that the college system isn't necessarily fair. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of lower income families, a lot of Black and brown families often get left behind in this conversation and often have a harder time finding themselves in a position to have access to good schools, whether it's because they don't have enough money or it's because the admission process is, frankly, slanted towards white folks. If we're gonna just base it on statistics and experience and stuff like that, it's an uphill battle for a lot of people. And you have such an important part of your life hinged on something that could potentially be nearly impossible for some people to reach depending on their life circumstances. It feels like we're doing this wrong as a society. So
Mhm.
I wonder, like, how do you think we can? Like, I know it's a lot to say now. Like, oh, we should just change the way college is done, right?
Yeah.
But like, what are some ways that you could think of, or can you think of any ways that seem like a good way we could look towards changing the way that the college system works for people and for just people coming into it?
Oh man. I mean, let's see. I say one is also like I think the elitism, like the status that is I think placed on certain colleges and the emphasis of just
Exactly.
being like, okay, if you go to a local university that's maybe in your town because it's more affordable, like that's okay. It's okay if you don't go to like a Harvard or a Yale, but I know like that, and I've had these conversations with friends like, oh my God, this is the best school for this. And I understand like in certain career fields, like going to a certain university is beneficial from a networking standpoint, right? And can really give you opportunities that maybe a smaller school won't. But I do think we need to socialize the message that like smaller schools are okay, because if you're going to be debt free in the end, great. And it's particularly for certain majors, I think it just depends what your career path is. As someone in HR, like, you know, if you are trying to go work for, like, if you're in accounting and you want to go work for one of those big firms, it probably is better to go to a better known school. But if you just want to be an accountant because you want to go work for your family member, I mean, it might be better just to go to the local community college if they're giving out business degrees and it gets you a free ride. So I think we need to socialize a message of just like the fact that you're attempting to go to college and better yourself, no matter where that is. I think that should be praised versus being like this, oh my gosh, you have to go to the top 3, you have to apply to the top 3 schools because that's what I mean, think about it. HBCUs, they're now getting their like fame, and all these corporations want to hire people from HBCUs, but it's like they've existed for what reason? To give Black and brown people opportunities to even have access to education. Yet it's like they're underfunded. And you know, it's this is what I'm saying. It's so frustrating to me because it's like now you give these people a shot, but it's like they've been here producing talent, but because it's not you know, a top university, you know, it just doesn't get the same weight in the application pool, unfortunately.
Yeah, and what do we see in top universities? You see people who are legacy who get chosen because their parents had access. Or maybe you got rich parents and they're able to donate a bunch of money to the school and you get in. Or maybe like we saw, what was it, a couple years ago, there is like just a full-on scandal where people are like paying for access and like, hey, you know, you got some status, you got some clout, you got some money, so here we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna let your people in, let your daughter in, let your son in, you know, on those kinds of things. It's hard to look at a system like that and say, oh yeah, this is set up for everybody to win. Minnie, as you think about it, what do you think about ways you might like to see things change going forward? And if I'm lagging a little bit, I hope you can still hear me fine. But
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Well, Holly hit almost every point. Holly, you hit almost. Here you go. You hit almost every point that I was gonna say. But I'll say this. I'll extend on what she said. One, when it comes to Black and brown people, if the major colleges themselves, the elite colleges, whatever you want to call them, the Ivy League, if they stop just getting us, if we can dribble good or if we can catch the ball very well, giving us a scholarship and give us scholarships for education, which there's a lot of Black and brown brothers who can score very high scores on tests and are very great learners, that would be a start. The second thing that I will go when it comes to that, and she mentioned it to a point as well, will be with HBCUs. Now that I will say this. How about this? She said everything that needed to be said about them. How about I say what we need to do? Do you remember a little boot named Timberland there, Tyrone? You live in New York. You've seen a lot of Timberlands, right?
Of course.
Are you old enough to remember when Timberland was just a work boot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Who made Timberland? We did.
I mean, I would say, yeah, absolutely.
So if we stop idolizing these colleges that we keep putting all the way up high as the elite version of education and start highlighting our colleges as the elite version of education and not just Brown and this and that and whatever, then we might make a point to have people point at us and be like, look at them brothers, they doing something. If we keep asking for people to let us in somewhere that they don't want us in, goddamn it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And it's one of the reasons why there's such a rich and celebrated history around HBCUs is for that very reason. It's like, you know, despite all the challenges that have been and still are when it comes to funding and things like that for HBCUs, still it's a point of pride. And anytime I've met somebody who goes to an HBCU, there's like a certain energy. I love the energy that comes from that. But it would be nice to have that on a larger scale and to have that more accessible and more, you know, just kind of easier to get for people, not, and, you know, just who want to learn and want to continue their education, but maybe they don't have the test scores or, you know, they don't have the money, that kind of thing. There's still so many barriers. So when I think about what I would like to see done better, honestly, I wish that we had just a public higher education option in this country.
Yeah.
Where you are somebody who wants to get a higher education and you can't pay for it, or you shouldn't have to pay for it. So you have the option to go to a federally or state funded university that pays for your education. That's something, and I know we have grants and we have scholarships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's like, it's a skill to be able to do those things, to apply for grants and, you know, and apply for scholarships and stuff. But I remember sitting down.
I got me a Pell Grant. Listen.
Yeah, girl, get you that money, girl. Get you that money.
And I was excited about today because I knew this would be like a time for Holly, because you're going to shine in a situation like this because you killed it. I mean, you've been killing it. You continue to kill it. And
I've traversed like the university system for sure. So I can provide, and especially as a first generation, I can definitely tell you like financial aid, like going back to the HBCU, I actually was deterred from applying to HBCUs because they were like, it's not on the same level and your job options are not going to be that good. So I never even thought of applying to an HBCU.
You see what I'm saying?
Because they were just like, mind you, this is 2006 and 5, you know, so it's a little different.
No, facts. But
it's just like, but they were like, no, you need to go to like University of Florida, Florida State, University of Miami. Like these are like the things that were being told to me. And I think that's why I'm glad we're having this conversation, because it's like, as I got older and I was like, oh, okay. I will say the only difference is like, sometimes you want to go to HBCU, I think, as a Black and brown person, but sometimes they just don't have the major. If you already kind of know what you want to do. And unfortunately that's due to the lack of funding. Like if you don't have the funding to have the professor in the program, you just don't. And I understand why some people make the decisions to go to, you know, the other schools, or they don't offer it in a mode. So I get it. Go ahead, Minnie.
Well, to what Tyrone said, I would, you damn right when it comes to that. But I would even go further and say, maybe not just any regular college, but maybe we should have federal funded trade schools. So maybe if you don't want to go to college, you can welding, stuff like that. I have plenty of family members who do welding and make so much money. You know, something that you need a skill for, you know, that you can learn and have an option for after college, and not just be, oh, I don't want to go to college. Now I'm just going to, you know, diddle around and try to find something. Now you can actually have a trade school, something that's going to provide a better future for you. So I'll say that for damn sure. And
I got a lot on that as an HR person. Listen, about them trade schools. Listen,
they're bad?
They make a lot of money. No, they're good. I'm saying they're good. No, they're good. And I say that to say, because I used to work for a general contractor, and we had a lot of, because we worked in like the Midwest, there was a lot of unionized employees that we had.
Right.
These people were pouring cement, welding, anything you can think of, talking about making like, you know, $80 an hour, $100 an hour. And I'm like sitting here like, now people could be like, oh, it's hard on their bodies. But I literally had a cousin tell me he was going to the University of South Carolina, and he was like, yeah, if I don't like college, I'm going to go be a welder. And I was like, I would never expect a kid. This is, mind you, maybe like 5 years ago, but that's what his thought was, like, I'm going to go be a welder because they make 6 figures. And I was like, oh, snap, you're right. Like they do. And they can work for like literally 5 months and not have to work the rest of the year.
That's it.
On the job. Yeah. And I was like, So don't sleep on them trades. That's
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and we found
Yeah.
that these jobs are timeless and important, and
Yep.
and very highly skilled. Hence the
Yes.
trade schools and stuff. And there is because of the way things are set up, those trade schools can be very expensive.
Yeah,
and
that's
and
true.
some of them are quite predatory. You know what I mean? Like you
Oh,
have some of the
facts.
schools, like and there's some wonderful trade schools out there. And trade school is a great college alternative if you're trying to like give yourself a marketable skill that can give you a job, or get you a job that will really take care of you, especially a good union job. Unions are very important, and we need more and more of them.
Yes, we
But
do.
yeah, but these jobs, they're important, they're timeless. And it's funny, even as your friend was talking, if this doesn't work out, then I'm gonna go to a trade school. The conversation, I think, is starting to shift a little bit more, but I think needs to shift even quicker towards valuing trade schools as much, if not even more than, typical, just kind of college for academia sense or academia sake, because when it comes to what we need infrastructure wise, our society, our cities, our everything, like they're very, very important. And these those jobs, the business analysts and the computer programmers and stuff like that, yeah, those jobs are great, and those jobs were kind of like what we were looking at in our generation going into. But what we're finding is those jobs are I found that for me was not fulfilling. So I sit there and just like have my soul drained. I was like, I gotta bounce. But also that they're very easily automated, and all of a sudden you're not as valuable as you once thought you were, because your company, doesn't see it in the bottom line or whatever.
Facts.
You have that union job with a skill that transfers, and all of a sudden, things are looking up for you. You know what I mean? So I think there is a
very true.
Yeah.
Very
So it's
true.
I would like to see more of that, and I would like to see more energy around, people growing up saying, I would like to be a carpenter, and help build homes and, for my community and, that kind of thing. Or I would like to be a welder and help, create infrastructure for my community, my city, my state, those kind of things.
That'll be smart for the government, though. If you think about it, if you want to create a better America, then you get trade schools, you federally fund them, and those people can build a better America. Literally, whatever you're talking about, cars, infrastructure, roads, all that. But it's not conducive to more money to their pocket. So
yeah,
and that's the thing. Everything that we have said is with the caveat that we live in this, we live in a society right now where money is the most important thing we consider. So
capitalism is real.
It is real, and
real American.
And I can't wait to really dive into it, further into those discussions, which I'm sure we'll do many times, in the weeks and months and years to come in Multiverse. But you have to bring it up in this sense, because it is something that is a driving force in why people choose the path that they choose, but also it's a driving force in why it's so damn hard, to make things work sometimes.
Yeah, I think it is. I think we're now coming into, with Gen Z in particular, and like the younger millennials, I think choosing passion over money to a certain extent, but realizing that your passion can make you money. And where before it was like, when we were younger, it was like, you go to college, you major in finance, and you're going to be this investment banker that makes a ton of money, when you're like, it's not that simple. It's like, and I have friends who are accountants and CPAs and everything, but they work a lot of hours, and to me they don't look happy. I mean, I know when the money hits, but they work a lot of hours, whereas people, like, you see these people literally creating content, like doing different fashion or whatever, and they love what they do, and it's probably more what they would have done originally versus using their degree. So
exactly, yeah, you got like a 20-year-old crocheting hats for frogs, and like she's making $30 million a year, and you're like, how the hell did this? When did the world turn into this? I didn't know this was an option.
True. You see people literally making like the simplest things on TikTok. You're like, okay, guys, I'm gonna like make this welcome home basket. Just just grabbing stuff off her shelf and putting it in a box and shipping an order, and you're like, drop shipping is a thing. So I appreciate like this gig economy and like where we're going, where do your passion. So even people who are like, for example, attorneys, like being like, oh, I'm not going to go work for a big law firm. I'm going to have my own business where I'm like doing all these things, making money. So I think even just in your traditional in that sense, like realizing like just because you do major in something or that's what your path was, like you can find ways to turn it into a business that allows you to have freedom and do other things too. So I'm glad we're shifting to being like not stuck in that you have to go to corporate America and like that's the only way. And not to say people who do and prefer that path, obviously, because I do. But I do think, again, like how Minnie and I have talked about our kids, I think understanding that there's options and again, creating these different lanes opportunities that they can access later in life, because we're not just pushing college. Like, you know, you can have a college if you want to do acting, if you want to do sports, like my kids, like, I'm like, whatever you're interested in, I'm kind of like, let's see, because I'd much rather you be happy.
Yeah.
And then you're in college and miserable and, you know, and so, yeah, you're like trying to push through because you think that's what I want, when it's like, no, what do you want to do? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm really glad that you brought up that word happy. I think it might be one of the only times we mentioned it tonight, but it's also so very important. You have one shot at this life. Really try to focus on doing what you can to make yourself happy. And also just like, you know, and especially if it helps take care of those around you and, you know, add value to your community. And I mean, I don't mean money value. I mean like value as a human. That's very, very important. We're already like running up against time, and it's crazy how fast these things go because the conversation's so great. But I do think we should just kind of put a fine point on it. And when we talk about, you know, one of the questions is do you need a college degree? I'm going to say, and please add or take away anything you want from this, but I'm going to say no. But awesome if you have one, amazing if you want to go get one. If you can tie it to your passion, something you feel strongly about, something that'll make you happy, even better. We love when you're educated. We love when you know as much as possible, but be careful of, be careful of getting into too much student loan debt. Be careful of predatory institutions because they are out there. It's a for-profit business, so they do want to make money off you. And, you know, just be careful of your time. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself and all the things that you do. So that's where I'll leave it. Minnie or Holly, do you want to add anything or take anything away from that?
You can go, Minnie. I'll go last. I have.
I know you have a plethora of things to say. You see, I went to college. I know the word plethora. Goddamn it. I'll say what I say to my child. It needs, even if you understand that I don't have one and that I've done pretty okay without one, and I know plenty of people who have too, I will still say need. Why and how? I tell my daughter, look, listen, it follow your passion. Do what you love. The old saying is always true. If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. So that means there's always going to be some kind of degree, some kind of thing that you can get for whatever you love. I promise you, even if it's acting, even if it's comedy, there's always going to be something that you can attain to have a degree. Why do I say need? It's because of this. Just like I tell her too. It doesn't matter how smart you know you are in this world to them. It only matters how smart you can prove you are to them. You already know who I'm talking about. And they don't give a damn about nothing but a piece of paper. It doesn't matter how smart, eloquent, or intelligent you might be able to convey yourself. Or you might be at all. It's all about how much you can prove. And that paper proof is a lot. So when I say need, for the powers to be to give you what you want out of life sometimes, find what you love, get your degree on it, and keep it pushing.
Damn, I got some work. Okay. What you got, Holly? Make me feel better.
Oh, so to Minnie's point, just as a woman of color in corporate America, I can have a lot of degrees. That don't mean I'm a validated expert in anything. But I understand. I understand though where you're coming from with that. So I as someone who has many degrees, I understand and agree with that statement. Do you need a college degree? I think it depends, particularly in America, that what your major is or what you're trying to do in life, you know. And I say that to say, do I think you need it? I personally, just as someone who's gone to college, that even if I took away the degree itself, I made a lot of my lifelong friends are from college. Like to this day, like my best friends are from college. I still talk to some of my professors who can give me recommendations, not for work, for nonprofit, for anything that I need. So I feel like I think it just depends what your life path. So do you need a college degree? I'm going to say honestly, no, but if there's like the but, I think it depends what you're trying to do in life. I have many degrees and I'm in a career path that I'm happy in, and I am living in my purpose. So it worked out for me, but I know it doesn't work out for everybody. So that's why I said I think it just depends, because I would never want to say like there are people I know who go for art and they're not necessarily like doing anything that they needed to do for art when they could have just been starting a side hustle and
did the art.
do the art. Yeah, like I mean, it's just like build a website and start selling their art, and that would have been that would have been the thing. So I just say no. I don't think you necessarily need it. I think it just depends on what your career path you're choosing. Because I saw someone said like, oh, it depends. Like I would like my doctor to have one. I mean, there are doctors that have degrees and aren't necessarily good doctors. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. The argument can be made either way. I just think like, because there are countries where there are people who are like don't have any like formal education but are great, you know, medical practitioners, just because think about it, like slaves treating other, you know, but you know, who's so so I just go ahead, Minnie, go ahead.
My bad. Those I maybe not the degree, but as an experience, I believe a lot of people need it, especially in America, because there's a lot of people who are born places where they never seen a black person, an Asian person, not like that. So college is the first time they're exposed to a lot of stuff that make them a better social person in the future, because it makes you deal with these type of people as a human being and not something you see on TV or hear about. So when it comes, the experience of college is a valuable experience.
I like it.
For a lot of people.
Make it free. I love that.
Make it free. I hear you, Tyrone. Make it free.
No, that's amazing. No, thank you. So thank you so much for joining us in this discussion. Minnie, do you want to take us out with the Minuteman Sports before we band?
Oh, there we got time. Oh shit.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'll do it. Yes.
Yeah, we got to intro you real quick.
Ooh, here's your chance, be a man, take my hand, understand. I don't want no minute man.
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted. There we go.
Yeah,
you gotta unmute. There you go. You muted yourself, but then you didn't unmute.
I don't know what's going on. Congratulations to the people that won last week. It is the playoffs, baby. That's one word my Raiders. Yeah, they suck. It's not my fault. All right. So you got the Giants won last week. Congratulations to the Giants. Congratulations to the Bengals. Congratulations to the 49ers, the Bills, and Florida's team right now. Congratulations to the Jags. And of course, I would like to give a big congratulations to the Cowboys for kicking out Tom Brady out the damn playoffs. You know I can't stand his ass. Now, what we got coming up? I think these are the people who are going to win the next games. I got the Chiefs, I got the Eagles, I got the Bills, and I got the Cowboys. I'm sorry, Tyrone. The Jags ain't going to make it no more. This is the last one for them. It's over, but they had a good run. Holla at Duval, but that's the winning teams. I'm not a minute man. That took a little bit longer than that.
Before we bounce, I do want to just say, as a Jags fan, just happy to be here. So anything at this point is just icing on it.
We're not.
Very happy to be here. No, it's been an amazing show. Thank you all so much for everything, for the amazing conversation. Looking forward to doing this again. I think we'll probably have to revisit college again.
I think we do.
Into some of these issues a little bit deeper. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us. Thank you for the comments. Like, follow, share on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. Check us out. We're going to have videos and reviews and all kinds of stuff for you. And of course, Multiverse every week at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday nights. Again, thank you so much for joining us. This is Holly Noon. This is Minnie Roberto Font, Minnie Morales, Minnie Baby Grover,
many names,
AKA. We know what's up. But no, thank you so much. I'm Tyrone Thornhill. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.